Good morning, everybody. My name is Ian Shepherd, and I'm the owner of Right Start Newcomer Services. Welcome to today's Learn Canadian English live stream. We've got a great episode. Today's topic is on the weather. So everybody likes to talk about the weather and learn about the weather. So that is today's plan. But before we my tongue doesn't work today. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that Right Start Newcomer Services conducts business in Chibuktuk, which is how you say Halifax in the Mi'kmaq language. This city is part of the ancestral, unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This means that when settlers came, the Indigenous people did not surrender their territory and instead signed treaties with Europeans. As a business, we're committed to upholding these treaties as we continue to build relationships between settlers, newcomers, and Mi'kmaq people. So thank you everybody for joining us today. So if you're watching, please say hello in the comments section. And if you're watching the replay after, you can also say hello. You can participate in the lesson by answering questions, putting your answers in the comment section, asking questions too. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to ask me, a trained English teacher, any question you have about grammar, spelling, what else? Ways to learn English, whatever. You can ask me anything you want. Don't worry, no question is stupid. So as most teachers say, there's no such thing as a stupid question because that's how we learn, right? We learn best by asking questions, thinking about it, and then fixing whatever issue we might have with the language. So anybody watching, say hello, please. Where are you watching from? What's going on in your life? And tell us about the weather. What is the weather doing in whatever part of the world you're in? So as you can see behind me, it's pretty sunny. Not really, this is just my green screen, but outside is kind of cloudy today. It's a little overcast. It's not so sunny, but it's not so bad. It's not raining or anything like that. So just a little bit cloudy. Temperatures probably around 23, 24 degrees Celsius. So it's a pretty standard day here in Halifax in the summertime. So I don't see any comments, but that's cool. So as you guys are paying attention, please leave your comment in the comment section. What's the weather like there? So as I said, today's topic is the weather in Canada. Hey, Bay is here. Hi, Bay. Bay in Brazil. I hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. And thank you so much for coming back. You're such a good student. You come almost every time. So it's great to have you back as always. Okay. So today's plan, we got a pretty good plan today. We're going to have our warm up. We'll have a little discussion about the weather. We're going to learn a lot of words today. So a lot of weather related words. Some of them are about Canada, but some of them might be applicable to wherever you are around the world. We're going to learn a bit of grammar just for a few minutes, talking about comparatives and superlatives. So I don't know if you know what those are, but you can give me an example in the comments section if you want. And then finally, we're going to do a listening activity. So I'm going to give you a sample weather forecast. You have to listen and then answer a few questions. So this is testing your listening ability as well as the ability to get some specific information from a listening activity. Sound good? I hope so. If it's not, just let me know or just stop watching if you want. Okay, so I want to hear from you guys. I see we have a fair number of viewers now. I see 7 people watching. So 5 questions, answer 1 or 2 or as many as you want. Number 1, I already asked this, but if you haven't answered, now's your chance. So what's the weather like where you are? Is it cloudy? Is it foggy? Is it rainy? Is it snowing? I don't know if it's snowing anywhere in the world right now. Maybe in the southern hemisphere. If you live in Antarctica, maybe it's snowing where you are. Number 2, this is kind of interesting. What is the hottest or coldest weather you've experienced, or both. So what was the hottest day you can remember? What was the temperature? Please use Celsius. Most of the world uses Celsius, but I know in America they use Fahrenheit. So let's use Celsius if we can. What's the hottest and coldest days you can remember? Number 3, describe your favorite weather. So what's the perfect weather for you? For me, it's about, 25 degrees, sunny, but maybe with some clouds so I don't get sunburnt. My white skin is very sensitive to the sun, so I don't like it when it's too sunny. I like some clouds to protect my poor pale skin. And what do you know about Canada's weather? So Canada, a lot of people think Canada's cold all year, but it's really not. We have our winter, but what else do you know about Canada's weather? And finally, what are the seasons? Do you have 4 seasons like we do here in Canada? So spring, summer, fall, or autumn, and winter, or some places just have like 1 or 2 seasons. So how many seasons are there and what are they where you live? Okay, so let's hear some answers. We've got a few people answering. So Sussy, hi Sussy. I don't know if you've ever watched before, but welcome to today's live stream. So Sussy is in Guatemala. Oh boy, I bet that's nice. Here in Guatemala is cloudy too. Okay, so cloudy in Guatemala. Like, what's the temperature there today, Sussy? And I've never been to Guatemala, but I assume it's very humid. So do you have a lot of moisture in the air? Is it very humid where you are? Okay, thank you for answering, Sussy. That's great. Bay said it's winter here, so it's cold most of the time, but it's also a sunny day, so in the sun it gets hot. Okay, so it's confusing. So it's usually cold, it's sunny, so it's hot. Like, what's cold, Bay? So, cold for me is minus 15 or 20 degrees. What's cold for you? So is it around 0 or is it plus 10 or I don't know. I just assume that Brazil is pretty hot most of the year. But, I could be wrong. I've never been to Brazil either. Okay, thank you for answering, Bay, that's great. Spelling most, M-O-S-T. So instead of must, M-O-S-T, most. Other than that, your answer was perfect. So Rodrigo says, I was in the Wisconsin, US one time. There were freezing, minus 20 degrees. Okay, let's say it was freezing there. It was freezing there. So minus 20 degrees. I heard Wisconsin is cold. I think I've been there, but it was the summertime. Minus 20 is cold. So even for most Canadians, minus 20 degrees is very cold. Although, some people who live in the north of Canada might not consider that to be very cold. They would say, oh, minus 20, no problem. That's a warm day. But for me, you're right, minus 20 is cold. It gets that cold here a few days out of the year, but usually it's not that cold in Nova Scotia. Okay, thank you, Rodrigo. Great to see you back today. Bay said hottest thing, plus 39 degrees. Coldest about 2. Yeah, so that's what I assumed. It doesn't get super duper cold in Brazil. I was thinking around 0 would be the coldest you'd see. So I guess I was right, but 39 is pretty hot. I would assume that was pretty unbearable. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Bay. Caribbean weather is the best. I would have to agree. I haven't spent much time down there, but when we were in the Dominican many years back, it was amazing. The weather was, not too hot. There was a nice breeze, a nice wind from the ocean, and it didn't get too hot. It was amazing. It did rain a few times, but nothing too bad. Okay, thank you, Rodrigo. I agree that weather is the best. Bay says perfect weather, about 20 degrees Celsius. Yeah, I would agree with that. And cold for me is 10 degrees or 5 degrees. Okay. So yeah, that for us would be, not too bad. I would go out probably in shorts running if it was 10 degrees Celsius. But 5 degrees, yeah, maybe I would wear longer pants for my run. Okay, thank you, Bay. That's great. And hey, Luis. So RD weather is tropical weather. So you're in the Dominican, I believe. So it's tropical, almost so hot every time. So maybe let's say every day or all the time, right? So don't say every time, let's say every day, or you can say all the time, Luis, and that would be great. Sometimes it is raining a lot. Let's say sometimes it rains a lot. Okay, yes, I experienced that a little bit when we were in the Dominican for a week. It did rain, but we were there, pretty early in the year, so it wasn't too hot when we were there. Okay, thank you, Luis. Thank you for coming back. And right now it is raining cats and dogs. So that's a great idiom. So you guys know what an idiom is. It's an expression. Sometimes we say when it's raining really, really hard, it is raining cats and dogs. Of course, not really, right? There's no dogs and cats falling from the sky, I hope. Louise, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's raining a lot. So we could also say it's pouring. It's pouring rain. It's raining cats and dogs. That's the same thing. We might also say this. It's really coming down. It's really coming down outside. So a few ways we can say when it's raining hard, raining cats and dogs, it's pouring, it's really coming down. Okay, thank you, Luis. That was an awesome answer. And Sussy says, today is 17 degrees Celsius. So it's maybe warmer in Canada than it is in Guatemala, which surprises me, but it is what it is. The weather is strange. Okay, thank you, Sussy. Thank you for clearing that up. Okay, great. So let's move on. We've answered all these questions. You guys are awesome. Let's move on. So let's talk about vocabulary. So we want to build our vocabulary a little bit today related to the weather. So list as many as you can. There's not only one right answer. So for example, you can say rainy, pouring, raining cats and dogs, sprinkling. There's a whole bunch of words that we can use for rain, depending on how much rain we get. A lot, a little, off and on rain. So use as many words as you know or expressions you know. Here is your first picture. So I want you to describe what you see in the picture. So is it sunny? This picture over here, not behind me. I know it's sunny behind me, but we're talking about the picture in the slide. So how would you describe that to somebody? And we will write our words right on the picture. So what would we call that? It's okay if you don't know. Just say I don't know. Okay, Rodrigo comes through in the clutch. Lightning storm. Okay, very good. I like that. So, light storm. And you spelled it perfectly, Rodrigo. A lot of people spell it lightning, L-I-G-H-T-E-N-I-N-G, and it drives me crazy, but you spelled it correctly. It is a lightning storm. So the lightning is this thing coming down from the sky. So that's the lightning. And then there's a sound. After the lightning hits, we get a sound. So what is the sound that comes after the lightning? Usually we call it lightning and something, or something and lightning. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, too slow. So we would call it thunder and lightning. So the sound is thunder. And the light is lightning. So actually lightning comes first and then thunder, but we usually say it's thunder and lightning. It's thundering and lightning. No, we wouldn't say that. There's going to be thunder and lightning tonight, or there's going to be a lightning storm, like Rodrigo said. Sussy doesn't know. That's okay. That's why we're here, Sussy, and maybe you learned a new expression. Thunder and lightning. Exactly, Rodrigo. Okay, so maybe we learned a new word, thunder and lightning. So, you know, Canada, this does happen quite a bit. We do get a lot of thunder and lightning storms here in Halifax and all across Canada. Okay, what would we call this? So, what is the weather? And if you're really lucky, if you find one of these, there's going to be a pot of gold at the end. So that's kind of a myth. It's a superstition that if you see one of these, it's very lucky, because at the end, if you can find the end, there will be a pot of gold and maybe a leprechaun. A leprechaun is like a little man with a pot of gold, but it's not really true. Hey, Bay got it. Okay, so this is a rainbow. Happens sometimes after it rains during a light rain. Actually, I think this is a double rainbow. So you can see one rainbow, and you can actually see a second rainbow. So this is a double rainbow. Yeah, great, Bay. So good word, rainbow. What else can we say? It is... So rainbow, it's cloudy. Maybe there's a little bit of rain. So it's not a strong rain. Let's call it mist. So maybe that's a new word. There is some mist, which is very, very fine light rain. Or you could say it's misty outside. So we're getting some mist, and it is misty outside. So mist is the noun, misty is the adjective. Okay, great. Moving on. Let's do that. Okay, so what is this? This is very common in Canada during the winter time. What is it doing there? Okay, while you guys are doing that, I'm just going to change up my background a little bit for fun. Let's do... I like that one, actually. Okay, so I'm going to choose that as my new background because it's lucky. So what would we say about this one? So I think it is snowing. Okay, good. So Sussy got it. So show, I think you meant snow or snowing. So yes, it is snowing. It is snowy, we could say. And I'll teach you another word. So you might not know this because it might not snow a lot where you are. We have a word for little pieces of snow. So little snow, it's not a lot of snow. We would call it like flurries. So flurries are little amounts of snow. So it usually doesn't add up to much. It's just, you know, here and there, there's little pieces of snow. We'll call them flurries. So maybe that's a new word for you guys, flurries. Okay, so here's a pretty nice day. What would we say about that one? Looks pretty nice, actually. Okay, great answer there, Sussy. Sussy, you're rocking it today. It is sunny. So sunny. That looks like Sanny. Sunny. Awesome. So it is sunny. Is it totally sunny? Or are there some clouds in the sky? So what would we say if there's sun, but also a few clouds? Rodrigo says it's a sunny, clear day. You're right, it's mostly clear, but there are some clouds in the sky. So what would we say about that? I'll give you a hint. It starts with P. A. Still there? Part. Oh, very good. Almost got it, Rodrigo. You could say partially cloudy. Yeah, I was thinking partly. Partly, partially, same thing. You got it, Rodrigo. Great job. So on a day like that, it's not totally clear. There are some clouds in the sky. So we could say it is partly cloudy or just sunny. Sunny's fine as well. Okay, you guys are doing great. Okay, this one, I think this is Italy, actually. It's not a Canadian picture, but you can see it's raining really hard. So what would we say about a hard rain like this? And we discussed some of those a few minutes ago. So what would we say about this weather? I'll give you one. Pouring. So we would say, that's kind of hard to see. Pouring. So pouring rain. We could also use the word, it's a downpour. A downpour, that's also kind of hard to read. Downpour. So a downpour is a very hard, usually it's short, it doesn't last for too long, but a very hard blast of rain. Luis had a good one before. He said it's raining cats and dogs. Cats and dogs. And I said another one earlier, it's really coming down. So pouring, it's a downpour, it's raining cats and dogs, something like that. How about this one, when it's kind of hard to see? So it's not easy to see any great distance in front of you. So what would we call this type of weather? There's really only one term for it, I think. Happens a lot in Halifax. So if you guys are coming to Halifax, Nova Scotia, it's like this, you know, a lot. Pretty often, not every day, of course, but sometimes early in the morning, sometimes all day, because we're on the ocean. So we get a lot of this. So what would we call this type of weather? Starts with F. Oh, Misty, good guess. kind of misty if there's some rain there. So I like this one better, Rodrigo. Foggy. F-O-G-G-Y. So I like that word, foggy. Perfect. I don't think there's a better way to describe it. So very good, Rodrigo. Let's move on. So it's a nice day. You're at the beach. How would we describe this weather? We already talked about sunny, but what if the temperature is really high? What are some words we would use to discuss high temperatures? I mean, hot. You could say hot, right? Hot is a pretty easy one that everybody knows. Are there any others? By the way, we're describing the temperature, not the person in the picture. So the temperature is hot. What's another one we could say? Really, really hot. We might say sweltering. Sweltering means really, really hot. Temperature is super duper high. So that would be hotter than hot. So hot could be, depending on where you are, 25, 30 degrees Celsius. Sweltering might be 35 degrees. So really, really, really hot. We might use the word toasty. Like toast, right? Toast is hot. Toasty weather is just hot weather. Anything else we could say? We might say it's hot as hell. Hell, I don't know if, sorry for offending you if you're religious, but hell is a very hot place. Hot as hell means it's very, very hot. So it's not really the same temperature as hell. It's just really, really hot. Okay. A couple more. I think we have this one. Oh, this is the last one. So what do we call this when the air is moving very quickly? Is that swearing? Kind of, but not really. I mean, hell is not that bad of a word. So I wouldn't call it a swear word. Hot as hell. I wouldn't call hell a swear word. So let's say no, Rodrigo. Swearing is reserved for words like, the F word or the S word. There's probably about 10 or 20 words that are considered swear words. Maybe we'll have another lesson about that, Rodrigo. I don't know if we can put it on YouTube. You probably can. You can put all kinds of stuff on YouTube. But I might not, I might lose my, licensing agreement. Anyway, so it's not really swearing. Some people might be offended, especially religious people, because, you shouldn't say hell, you shouldn't say God or something like that. But no, I think it's okay. Let's not call it swearing. Okay, and Bay got it. So it's windy. Great word, windy. Yes, windy. Rodrigo said windy, and I like this one, hurricane wind. So a very, very hurricane. A very powerful rain and windstorm is called a hurricane. And I think that will actually come up in the next slide as well. So you guys are great. Your vocabulary is really good. I have a few more questions related to vocabulary. So see what you know. 5 words or 5 expressions related to the weather. I give you a definition. You have to fill out the word. So number 1, a light wind is starts with B and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blanks. So 6 letters altogether. What is a word for a light wind that starts with B and has 6 letters? The next one, when the air is full of moisture, starts with H, and there are 5 letters in that word. Number 3, a large snowstorm, starts with B and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 letters. Okay, number 4, a light constant rain. This is a hard one. Starts with D and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters. And the last one there, when it's extremely hot for days in a row. So 2 words. First word starts with H. Second word starts with W. So do you know any of those? Put in the number 1. What's your guess? Number 2. What's your guess? 3. What's your guess? 4, 5. If you know one of them, great. If you know all of them, that's amazing. And you can have my job. And you can come teach these classes if you know all of these words. Okay? By the way, it's a volunteer position. I do not get paid for this. So if you guys want my job, you'll have to earn it. Okay, great. So we have some guesses. Rodrigo says blown. No, that's not quite what I was looking for. I'll give you a clue. Second letter is R. And number 3, you got it. Blizzard. Said Z-A-R-D. So Rodrigo got blizzard. A blizzard is a very strong, large snowstorm. Happens, probably once or twice a winter here in Nova Scotia. We don't get a lot of blizzards, but a blizzard is when a large amount of snow falls in a short period of time. And we've had blizzards where the snow is over your head. Just Google White Wan. So there was a big storm in Halifax, one that everybody remembers and everybody still talks about even today. So it is called, just a moment, White. Yeah, so if you guys are interested, put in White Wan, Google it for Halifax, and you'll see some crazy pictures. The snow is like over people's heads, over their cars. Some people couldn't even get outside because it covered up their door. They had to go out through the window and then dig out their door in order to get outside. So we have some pretty crazy blizzards here. So that's number 3. Way to go, Rodrigo. And number 5, heat wave. Rodrigo, you're rocking it. Heat wave. So exactly, when you have a extremely hot weather for 3, 4, 5 days in a row, we call that a heat wave. Okay, awesome, Rodrigo. And number 1, breeze. That is awesome. So light wind is called a breeze. So not a heavy wind, just a very light wind. Feels nice on a hot day. So Rodrigo, you're doing great. You might get student of the day today, Rodrigo. You're doing awesome. So if you don't know number 2 and 3, I'll give you the answers. So when the air is full of moisture, we would say it's humid. It's a very moist type of heat. So I don't mind when it's hot, but when it's hot and humid, I get all sweaty, stinky, and nobody wants to be around me. Number 4, a light constant rain. Let's call it a drizzle. So not heavy rain. This is a very light, it's sort of heavier than mist. Remember, we learned that word earlier, mist and misty. Drizzle is a little bit more. So it's a little bit more powerful, but it's not really a hard rain. It's just a light, steady rain. Okay, awesome. 5 more words and then we'll move on to grammar and then our listening activity. So this is a hard one. What is another word for rain or snow? There's a P and a whole bunch of letters after that. Number 7, a short period of rain. So when it rains for, 20 minutes, half an hour, and then stops, what would we call that? Very light snow. I think I told you this before. If anybody was paying attention when we looked at the snow picture, you'll know a word about snow that starts with F. Number 9, when the temperature feels colder due to the wind. Okay, this is a very common expression in colder places where you need to know that, it's a cold day, but when the wind blows, it feels even colder. And there's 2 words, W and then a C word. Finally, number 10, a large storm with high winds and heavy rain. And I think Rodrigo mentioned this one earlier. Starts with H, and there's probably about 9 or 10 letters in there. Okay, so let's do it quickly. Rodrigo, do you know all these ones? Bay, are you still there? Do you know any of these? And anybody else who's just joining us, if you know any of these words that I'm describing, they're all related to the weather. Put them in the chat, put the number, and see if you know. Check your spelling as well. This is a good chance to practice your spelling. So you can show off for everybody. You can practice your spelling. You can, just practice your English a little bit more. Okay, so Rodrigo got number 10. Awesome. Hurricane. Yes, so hurricane is a big storm. It's also a good movie with Denzel Washington. What was it called? Hurricane? Anyway, that was his nickname in the movie. That was a really good show. And then he got falsely accused of murder or something. And yeah, it was a good movie. So hurricane is a big storm with high winds and heavy rain, and also a good movie with Denzel Washington. What are some of the other ones? So another word for rain or snow, number 6. This is a hard one. PR. Yes, Luis. Luis to the rescue. Good job, Luis. Precipitation. Precipitation. Is that the same in Spanish? Do you also say precipitation in Spanish? Maybe it's spelled differently, but great job, Luis. So we use the word, or, meteorologists, the people who tell us the weather, they use this word all the time. We're going to get precipitation, a lot of precipitation, mixed precipitation, blah, 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 blah. So it just means rain or snow. So big word for a very simple thing. Great job, precipitation. Very close in Spanish. Okay, so precipitación. So with a C instead of a T. So makes it easier when you're learning English if you have similar words in your first language. Okay, a short period of rain. Let's call it I had one this morning. Shower. Okay, so a short period of rain we would call a shower. So might last, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then it's over. So good word for you guys, shower. Very light snow. Let's call that flurries. So you'll hear this a lot if you move to Canada. You will get a lot of flurries, and flurries happen all the time in the winter. Is that Portuguese, Bay? So I don't know how to pronounce that. Precipitao? I've never tried to learn Portuguese before, so I don't know, but it's similar, right? The first part's the same, almost, precipitate, and then you have your ending CAO. I really don't know how to pronounce that. So I'll have to take a Portuguese class at some point. But as far as I know, English, Spanish, and Portuguese, they're all kind of sister languages, you'd call them. So they share a lot of words that are very similar. Spelling can be very similar. Pronunciation can be similar, although there are, of course, some differences. So it really helps if you know one of those languages to learn English can really be beneficial. Although it can be confusing because you think you know the word, because you have this word in your language, but maybe in the other language it's totally different. Okay, and the last one there, number 9, when the temperature feels colder due to the wind, this is something you really need to listen for. We would call it wind chill. So the weather person will say, you know, there's going to be a wind chill factor of -20 today. So the temperature might be -10. If it's windy, it feels like it's -20. So that's why it's very important to listen for the wind chill, because you know, -10 is cold, but -20 is really, really cold. And if you're not dressed properly, I don't know, you could, you know, lose a finger from frostbite. You know, you could die if you're out exposed to the really, really cold temperatures. Okay, so great words. So we learned breeze. You can repeat after me if you want. Breeze, humid, blizzard, drizzle, heat wave, great words. Precipitation, shower, flurries, wind chill, and hurricane. Okay, so I hope you learned a few new words. Let's move on, just talk a little bit about grammar. So I thought a good grammar point today would be about comparatives. So comparatives is when we compare two things, two days, two places, two people. Often we use comparatives. When we want to say something is the biggest or the best or the most something, we use the superlative. So, for example, let's say we want to say how hot it is. We can use the comparative hotter, right? So basically, to make the comparative, in some cases, we put ER at the end. In this case, we have to double the T. Right? In order to keep that sound, the hot, the sound of the O, to keep that sound, we have to double the T when we put in ER. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, right? So if the word is, say, cold, we don't have to double the D when we make the word colder. Okay? So in that case, we don't need to double the D because we already have two consonants. So consonants are not vowels, not A, E, I, O, U, or sometimes Y. If you have two consonants already, you don't need to double it. If you only have one consonant and you need to make that short O sound, you need to double the consonant at the end. So most short words, we just put ER or we double the consonant and then put ER at the end. If it's a longer adjective, usually 2 or 3 or more syllables or parts, we have to say more, right? So for example, if the word is comfortable, we would say more comfortable. So you can practice this, right? Maybe you want to practice right now, practice making a sentence, comparing maybe 2 days. So today is hotter than yesterday. Yesterday was windier than today. The temperature tomorrow will be more comfortable than today. So that's another point. We need to use the word than when we compare. So hotter than, more comfortable than, rainier than, more humid than. And note the spelling. It's THAN, not EN. So we use than when we compare, and we use then when we're talking about time. So then is a time word. I do this, then I do that. So not THEN, T-H-A-N is correct. Hey, Bo's here. Hey, Bo, how's it going? I got 3 thumbs up from Bo. Bo is my friend from when I worked at Isands. He was my client, and then he was my coworker. And he also has a rainbow. Okay, so I got a rainbow in the background, and Bo's got his rainbow in his profile picture. So nice to see you, Bo. Thanks for dropping by. I don't think Bo needs to learn English from me. His English is awesome. He's a teacher. But who knows? Maybe he just wants to say hi. So it's a good idea to practice comparatives. So practice the spelling, practice making sentences using those comparatives. If you guys want to try it out in the comment section, put your comparative sentence in there. Then we also use superlatives. So when something is the most, right? The hottest day of the year will be tomorrow, or yesterday was the rainiest day ever in July. Okay, so I use the same words. So the hottest, the most comfortable, the rainiest. Notice the spelling. So that's another good point. Let's say the word is rainy, and we want to make the comparative form. We say rainy, rainier. So R-A-I-N-I-E-R. So you can see we changed the Y, changed it to I, and then put ER. So if it ends in Y, change the Y to I and then add ER. Actually, the rule is if it ends consonant and Y, then you change it. If it ends vowel Y, you don't have to change it. So don't ask me why. So rainy becomes rainier, and then we have the rainiest. And that's when we use the. So we have to use the because we use the definite article when there's only one, right? There's only one rainiest day of the year, or there's only one the most comfortable temperature. So there's only one, we use the article the. And finally, we said the most humid there. So this is a good thing to practice. So practice comparing things, practice making the superlative form. You can put it in the comment section. If not, practice on your own. It's a great thing to practice, and it's something that a lot of people make mistakes. So a lot of mistakes, they use the wrong word. They use then instead of than. Could be a spelling mistake also, or they forget to say the when they're making the superlative form. Okie dokie, last thing for today. We are going to practice listening to a weather report. So it's pretty short. It's 1 minute and something seconds. I'm not sure exactly how long it is. So you guys are going to listen for the answers to these 3 questions. So what's the weather like today and tonight? Number 2, what will the weather be like tomorrow and for the rest of the week? And then what will the weather be like on the weekend? So pretty easy. It's not a real weather forecast. It's just me. I recorded it a few minutes before today's lesson. I hope I did a good job and I didn't make too many mistakes. So if you guys are ready to listen, let's do it. Good morning, everybody. This is Jim McBeans with Channel 8 Weather. Okay, let's start again. Good morning, everybody. This is Jim McBeans with Channel 8 Weather. This morning, we're going to get some showers, folks. So we're going to get some rain, probably only 3 or 4 millimeters, and the temperature is going to be 18 degrees Celsius. This afternoon, it's going to clear up, so don't worry. It's going to be sunny with cloudy periods, and the temperature is going to rise to 24 degrees Celsius. This evening, the clouds are going to come back in, and the temperature is going to fall to 19 degrees Celsius. Overnight, we're going to get a bit of rain, but probably only a few millimeters. Tomorrow is going to be hot, folks, so get your umbrella and head to the beach. It's going to be 32 degrees Celsius and very, very humid. The rest of the week is going to be a heat wave. So we're going to see temperatures around 34 degrees Celsius, and it's going to be humid, folks. So make sure you stay inside or head to the beach. Over the weekend, we're going to get some rain. So we're going to see that hurricane come in with high winds and strong rain. So folks, make sure you're prepared for that. Okay, so again, I'm Jim McBeans with Channel 8 Weather. See you tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so if anybody's still here, did you catch any of those? Let's listen again because it was a little bit tricky. So remember, if you're just joining us, we are listening for three things. What's the weather today and tonight? What's the weather tomorrow and the rest of the week? And then finally, what is the weather on the weekend? All right, last time, here we go. Good morning, everybody. This is Jim McBeans with Channel 8 Weather. This morning, we're going to get some showers, folks. So we're going to get some rain, probably only 3 or 4 millimeters, and the temperature is going to be 18 degrees Celsius. This afternoon, it's going to clear up, so don't worry. It's going to be sunny with cloudy periods, and the temperature is going to rise to 24 degrees Celsius. This evening, the clouds are going to come back in, and the temperature is going to fall to 19 degrees Celsius. Overnight, we're going to get a bit of rain, but probably only a few millimeters. Tomorrow is going to be hot, folks, so get your umbrella and head to the beach. It's going to be 32 degrees Celsius and very, very humid. The rest of the week is going to be a heat wave. So we're going to see temperatures around 34 degrees Celsius, and it's going to be humid, folks. So make sure you stay inside or head to the beach. Over the weekend, we're going to get some rain. So we're going to see that hurricane come in with high winds and strong rain. So folks, make sure you're prepared for that. Okay, so again, I'm Jim McBeans with Channel 8 Weather. See you tomorrow. Okay, hopefully that wasn't too hard to listen to. That was my radio voice. So I think we got a few answers. So if you didn't have time to put your answers in, put those in the comment section. So number one, what's the weather like today and tonight? How much detail can you give? So can you tell me the temperature, the precipitation, what can you tell me? And then what will the weather be like tomorrow and for the rest of the week? Finally, what's the weather going to be like on the weekend? So we got some answers here. So Rodrigo gave us an answer. So number 2, humid and heat wave. So very good, Rodrigo. So I think the weather forecaster said tomorrow will be 32 degrees and humid. And then for the rest of the week will be 34 degrees and humid. So there will be a heat wave. Very good, Rodrigo. On the weekend, we're going to get strong rain. You are correct, sir. So we're going to get a hurricane, high winds, strong rain. A hurricane is coming. Great. So how about today? So what's the weather like today and tonight? Sussy has an answer. So today, showers. Very good. So showers in the morning. Tonight will be clear. Very good. So tonight is clear. And for the weekend, a hurricane. So excellent. So it's going to clear up in the afternoon, maybe 24 degrees. In the evening will be clear, 19 degrees. And then overnight, maybe some rain. So a few millimeters of rain. So awesome job, Sussy and Rodrigo. You did a great job listening to a weather forecast. So this is something that's pretty easy to practice, right? You can go online, look at weather forecasts. You can practice your reading by reading the weather forecast. You can practice your listening by watching the weather forecast and quiz yourself, right? Don't just listen and then forget about it. Listen and give yourself a quiz. So what's the weather going to be like tomorrow or the next day, or what's the temperature or something like that. So if you don't have a teacher to make the quiz for you, make your own quiz. And that way you're listening for very specific things, and you're testing your ability to get specific information from a listening. So weather forecasts, news things, newscasts are very good for that. And they're everywhere. So go on to any news site. You can go here in Canada. We have a few you can check out. So like here in Canada, we have CBC, we have CTV, we have Global, and we have like the Weather Network. So let's say you wanted to practice your English, check out these websites. So just search for CBC Halifax or CBC Calgary, CBC Vancouver, and you'll be able to get weather forecasts for each of those cities in Canada, depending on where you live or you're going to live in the future. There's also CTV, there's Global, and there's the Weather Network, which pretty much does weather everywhere. So this is a great way to learn new weather words, practice your listening for the forecasts and all that good stuff. Okay, so today we had a good discussion. We learned quite a few weather words. We learned a little bit of grammar on comparatives and superlatives. And then finally, we did our listening activity. So we practiced understanding a weather forecast. So again, my name is Ian, and I'm the owner of Right Start Newcomer Services. Check out our website, send us an email. And to remind you, we do classes. So if you wanted to learn English with me, one-on-one or in a small group, send me an email or check out the website, and we've got more information about that. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Hope you're all doing really well. And we will be back on Thursday with another lesson. So hope to see you then. Hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and have a great day, everybody. You're welcome, Bay. Thank you for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, guys. So I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye, guys.